Hi, everyone. This is Divinely Empowered with Antonio. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button. I never say that. That's why I mess it up. Woohoo. Anyway, today we have got Mel Don, and she is one of the lovely people who has done the cellular regeneration with me. Now, she's only just started. She's a week and a half in, but she's had some cool results. So I just thought I'd share it. I think it's nice to share results at different people during the journey so that people can see how fast things change. Depending on your health, you're going to sort of notice things more quickly. If you're in quite good health, if you're in poor health, it's going to go and start fixing your illnesses first. But Mel was in pretty good health when we started, and she's already had some interesting results, and it's been a week and a half. So over to you, Mel. Hello.
Hey, nice to be with you, Antonia. So yeah, I was a bit blown away. I just went into my diary before having a chat with you to think, because I was thinking, oh, it was about 3 weeks ago that we had a session, and I was checking when I've been with my doctor. Anyway, cut a long story short, you're right. It was like a week and a half ago that we had our session. And just prior, like 2 days before, I'd been told I had severe osteoarthritis in my right hip, and hence the constant pain and it's just nagging. And at times I lose power. Like I can't, if I squat down, I can't get up because of my right hip. And I think of things energetically. So when things happen as a causative effect, I think, okay, something's not quite right. So with my hip, well, what am I worried about? What am I worried about moving forward? Blah, blah, blah. And I try to address that. I got to a point, I thought, this is getting ridiculous. And then when I got this diagnosis, I just fell in a heap thinking, this is terrible. I'm too young for that. And yeah, I just realized when you reached out early this week and saying, has everyone seen any changes? I went, oh, I actually don't have any pain. And that's my biggest problem. When I've got pain, I notice it. When I don't have pain, I don't flag it. So I think it's probably...
What sort of pain were you in? So like, yeah. So what sort of pain? Was it daily? How did it work before?
It varied. Some days were worse than others, but always had an ache, a deep ache in the right hip, always. Some days were worse than others where I would, as I said, because I work in a clinic where I'm moving a lot, squatting down, getting up, doing all kinds of stuff, and I could not pull myself back up again. And none of that. I've absolutely had none of that. And it's a bit mind-blowing when, as I said, it wasn't until you reached out that it flagged it to me like, oh my goodness, this has actually happened to me. And then since you've done that, I've done a check, because every day since my cellular regeneration, my shower in the morning is my check-in. I do a lot of head stuff. I don't know what, it's just my clearing out. And I do a body check and I go, where do I think I need something? And of recent times, like the recent days, it's been skin. So I just want to do something to my skin. And I've noticed I've had this lesion on my forearm that I've had since I was a child, which is just like a hyperkeratosis. So it's like an extra bunch of skin cells. Nothing, it's just really benign. It's all of a sudden gotten red and getting flat. And I'm looking at this going, this is really bizarre. It's red, it's flattened out. This has never happened. And I'm not that it bothers me, but it was just an observation. So as I said, each day I look at it. When I first started, I was going liver, kidney, brain kind of thing. I was thinking of my organs, my hip. That was where I was directing all the, divine cellular regeneration. But recently this week I've been doing skin, and then this kicked in and I'm being more aware, much more aware.
So, okay, but let's go back to your osteoarthritis, because I think that's really important. So when I did the session with you, we actually worked on various different things as well. So I'm doing the cellular regeneration. I'm also dissolving the emotions, which are actually the base of most diseases. I think every disease. I think emotion is the base of disease. So we've got my textbook, and we read the textbook and we look into what's going on in people's bodies. And I dissolve the emotional resonance with whatever's causing it and delete that whole story. And then hopefully things start to unravel. And that's the process that we're doing. We're doing the stuff which is feeding it and causing the disease, the stuff which the disease actually is, was compressed emotion, and then also the cellular regeneration. So when did you notice, so your pain was a deep ache all the time, and then sometimes it would be at what level, and then what level? What was your sort of, what would a week look like with it? Was it sometimes a 10 out of 10 or a 3, or so, you know, I just want to say that, and then saying what it's been the last few days when that changed, what's going on, just to get a bit deeper.
Yeah. So on a good day, it'd be a 3.
Okay.
Like, so it's just there. I know it's there. On a bad day, it's an 8. I got a high pain threshold. So 10 would be someone's putting a knife in my hip, but 8 is when I lose power. The pain is so bad. I've been walking around my clinic and I literally almost fall over because my right hip just fails me.
Right.
Yeah. So that has completely, in my opinion, resolved. And since you made this comment earlier this week, I've been really aware and focusing on it. And I'm like, no, there's nothing. There's zero. Absolutely.
You know what day the pain went? So did you know when it just suddenly went? You just weren't paying attention. It just wasn't there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I've got pain, I notice it. When I don't flag it.
Do you think it happened instantly, or do you think it took a couple of days, or do you just not know?
I can't say, but I'm shocked tonight to see it was last Tuesday. But I know last Monday.
By the way, anyone. So you've got the weekend.
Sorry.
Tuesday a week ago, and today's Friday the 21st. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm on the other side of the world. I took my dogs we went on a 9K walk on Monday, no problems.
Like you wouldn't have been able to do that before.
I would do it, but it would be painful. I still push through. I'm stubborn like that, but it would be painful.
So that was 6 days after the treatment, and you didn't have any pain after a 9K walk, and you've been diagnosed with osteoarthritis.
Correct. I haven't had another X-ray, but I'm just like, as I said, it wasn't until you flagged it this week I went, actually, I haven't had anything. I don't remember it. Yeah. So impressive.
Okay, so at least by Monday, but you hadn't noticed it before. I mean, look, I'm saying 6 days. I'm just saying if it was like instant or whether it took 6 days. 6 days is awesome, but you know, I'm just trying to.
It definitely could have been sooner because I'm so used to having the pain day in, day out.
You don't let it, you know, you don't.
Yeah, that's it. And I do Pilates every day, and I'm limited by my movement based on my pain. And I just went, oh, I don't have it. And this is where, you know, I was saying to you in our session, you know, I've got is it a vet's book?
Vet Rose.
Yeah. So I knew what I needed to do. I could see this, and I knew I needed to do this kind of healing. I just didn't know how to do it. And that's where it's
very difficult to delete the emotions which are causing the issue. It's very, very difficult. It's taken me 20 years to learn how to do it, and I've got like very unique energy system. So it's knowing what it is and being able to I mean, you really need to know what it is and then getting rid of it. So I mean, you can make peace with things, but I think it's deeper than doing it on an emotional level. I just think it's an energetic level. If you can truly make peace with these things, you may be able to resolve things. But the thing is, it's not rebuilding, because as I said, we've got this three-part attack. It's like this trinity. It's like the emotions which are causing it, the actual manifestation of the illness, and then actually using the regeneration to start to fix things. So, you know, that is a very different way than anyone else I've come across. So it's huge. So
it is huge. And I was thinking back, like, how long have I had this? And I can honestly say it's a good 10 years that I've had this pain, because I remember a friend of mine being sick in hospital, and I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand. They're in ICU, and the pain was just overwhelming. And all the time, I just think it's energetic, like someone's attacking me, or it's something I need to deal with, and blah, blah, blah. So, and I was never able to actually manage that myself until obviously came in touch with you. So eternally grateful.
And then suddenly it's just gone in a couple of days.
Possibly.
Or less than a week. Well, you know, we don't want to overstate it because it's already big enough.
Well, I was shocked before I spoke to you today. I thought, I'll just go and check and I went, no, my calendar's wrong. It can't have been last week.
Have you been, you seem like the sort of lady who would not say this freely. So have you been doing lots of Pilates moves and pushing yourself just to see if it comes back? I assume that you might have been doing.
Look, I haven't pushed myself more than I normally do, because I'm mindful. Like, I'm 60 this year, so I'm mindful of, I've just got to be careful. I used to be a big gym junkie and smash everything. I'm invincible, but injuries happen really quickly as you age, particularly in menopause. So I go to how I feel, and I have got greater range of movement. My right hip could never go laterally more than 45 degrees, and I'm pushing that a lot more now. It's noticeable, it's palpable. So I'm just going with it. I'm just working with it, which I'm excited about. And I can't tell anyone. Like, I mentioned it to my mum today, and she goes, "Don't tell anyone." And I went,
Why?
Because it's hard for people who aren't open to it.
It sounds like it's BS. It does.
I know.
My biggest problem is that what I'm doing is so profound, people just can't comprehend it, because it just sounds like it's too good to be true. It sounds like I'm selling snake oil. It really does. But this is why it's so important to do these videos with people, because my audience are listening to you, and it's all very well me, saying whatever it is, and I can blow smoke up my own ass as much as I like, but it's from when it's coming from somebody else and it's their personal experiences, that's when it resonates, and that's when it people can feel that what you're saying is true. And unprepared, like we haven't prepared this meeting. I don't prepare for meetings more than a few seconds, because I think it's better when it comes through in an authentic way. So yeah, it's really interesting, and it's your testimony and people's testimony which makes all the difference, and then people start to understand it and to believe that these things are possible.
Yeah, and I'm open to sharing with everyone. But my mum, who's 88, she listens. She goes, "That's so interesting, but don't tell you." I went, "Well, I'll tell whoever wants to know," because to be honest,
said that to me as well. I mean, it's just a mum thing.
Exactly. But to be honest, I had no expectations. I went into this going, I'm open to it. I want to heal what I can, because obviously I've been carrying this for so long, whatever it is, and I'm open to heal whatever it looks like. And I think that is where a lot of it comes from as well, is the commitment. But having said that, I was talking with my girlfriend Trish, who referred me to you, and we have a friend who's very A plus B equals C, so has a difficulty conceptualizing this kind of work. And he's got myelitis, it's a fibromyelitis. So he can hardly walk. It's almost like he looks like he's got MS, and he's early 30s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he cares for his mum, who is blind, kidney transplant. She's incapacitated, and cut long story short, he needs to be healed. But I believe his healing needs to be, the reason he has this acute situation is because of stuff he hasn't dealt with.
It always is.
Yeah. And I know once he deals with it, and we were just talking about the fact that even working with you, he doesn't have to believe, he just has to be, because
just think about this stuff which I read out from the back and the book, and just allow yourself to sort of go, ooh, that does resonate. And that's all you need to do, is just to you don't have to go that deeply into it. You just have to listen and go, yeah, there's some resonance there, and just play it out like a movie in your mind. And then I can delete the resonance, and then things start to fall into place, and it starts to, it's just coding. This is the thing. I really think of things as coding. Like it is. We get stuck, and it's changing the coding in our systems. And then if we just change that and bring the original coding back, which is the cellular regeneration, which is literally the original coding, then things can start to repair. It's quite techie in a way. It's like it's biomechanics, and it's energetic biomechanics in a way. It's like it's binary to me, and it's almost like the matrix coding with the zeros and ones. And it's just that, because we are meat suits. I don't know, souls in meat suits. I think that there is a mechanic to it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah,
it's just sad that some people are so pigeonholed they can't conceptualize, but as I was saying.
The more people talk about it, and the more that, you know, I've now got my students who are my practitioners who are about to be launched doing this, and the more people do it, you know, the more people are going to have effects. We're still around about, I don't know, 40 people who've done it so far. It's still very much in its infancy, and everyone's having amazing results thus far. We have had a little bit of psychic attack recently, so it has slowed progress for some people, but that's all been dealt with. So that's all going to be fine now. So yeah, so it's interesting, but it is working really well. What else has happened to you? Have you noticed your energy levels have been feeling better? How's that all been? Has that made a difference as well, or has it been focusing on your pain levels?
Excuse me, just Georgie drop. Sorry, my dog's dropped bones. Energy, no, that hasn't changed, but okay. There's a lot going on, so I get that. I'm trying to do lots of things at the moment, so yeah, something's got to give.
Your pain going from your osteoarthritis, you know, and that's gone within a week. That's pretty much enough for a week's worth of work, to be honest.
Absolutely. I'm not pushing the friendship, and that's what I'm saying when I noticed this lesion in my arm that was. It's never bothered me, but it's disappearing. I'm going, wow. Because as I say, every morning I go, where do I want my divine cellular regeneration to be targeting? Yeah. And what's important to me? And yeah, that's where I go. I just do like almost a scan, feeling myself where you know, feeling my body, my organs, what's depleted, what's not. And that's where I ask it to go. If it does, I don't know. I've got no idea, but
it can go really, so yeah, for people who are new to this as well. So it will go to where it's most needed as it decides. But if you want to direct it to particular areas because you just want to get involved with it, then you're able to do that too. So you'd be directing it to your arm then.
Clearly, without realizing it, I just said skin because skin is our largest organ. So I thought, oh, there's a lot to cover. But yeah, I just noticed this as a byproduct. I went, wow, like it's been probably 50 years that I've had this thing.
Right.
Go figure.
Have you noticed anything else with your skin? Which is, I mean, is
yes. So I do suffer psoriasis. Which is an autoimmune condition that really raised its ugly head post-vaccinations, and it is definitely subsiding. I do notice it is like after seeing you, literally by day 2, my business partner, because I normally have little snow bits on my uniform at work, he goes, there's no snow. I went, I know, I saw Antonia 2 days ago. And he looked at me like I was a nut. And I mean, he believes in all this as well. So he was curious. And so does one of our patients, because she was curious as well. I don't know if she's reached out to you. Yeah, for about 2 to 3 days after, I had nothing. I had no itching, no dryness, no flaking. This week's been a bit stressful, and yeah, it has flared up again, but I know it's about me dealing with it as well. It's a 2-pronged approach, I believe.
Well, also, you know, that it's prioritizing unless you've directed energy to it, and now it's starting to do your skin. But obviously the osteoarthritis was the one which was the worst thing. Being in chronic pain is just awful, you know, especially when you've got that baseline level of pain. So once that's all sort of fixed, then it will go on to the next area. So it's just showing, it's sort of like, oh, this could be working. So yeah, it's in process. And I think it's worth checking in with you again in a few weeks or a month and seeing what's happening with psoriasis. You know, it's a week and a half in. We're not expecting everything to be fixed immediately.
No.
And also the thing is with psoriasis as well, for people who are unfamiliar with how skin works, which you probably don't know, it takes 28 to 31 days to get new skin. So it's, you know, 4 things to be fixed in the skin area. It should be taking weeks. I have worked on people and the psoriasis is entirely gone within a week. I've done that a number of times before, but not when you're doing multiple things simultaneously. So I think that, you know, it's in the list of priorities. So it's going to be doing that soon. And if you've got extra stresses and things like that, then it's just going to be slowing the process. So yeah, let's see where that is in a month's time and see.
Yeah. No, you've you've definitely switched things on for me, which I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
And I'll keep working through it. As I said, I didn't register until you reached out, and when I did a check, I went, oh my God, I've got no hip pain. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, well, you don't notice, and that's one of the problems that I've also had with the work that I've been doing for years, is people forget that they were sick in the first place. So it's really important to get testimonies, because people don't even necessarily recommend, because they just forget that there was a problem. And so you don't get as many referrals as you would think that you would, because people only come and see me once, or they, you know, I try to do as many things as I can in a session as well. I just load everything up and do as much as I possibly can. And then when people are better, then it just doesn't register within them. So it's really important to get these videos and have testimonials and find out, you know, what's actually happening, and checking in with people. So it's but it's an interesting world, and we'll see what happens in the next.
It is, and you know, it's really important to share the word, share the love, and make people more aware, because it doesn't have to be that hard, so to speak. You know, if they want to commit to something, they can actually make a massive shift.
Yeah.
The tools are there. It's just recognizing where to go. And it wasn't for my girlfriend Trish, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be chatting with you.
Yeah.
But a lot of it FOMO.
So that's very exciting. Okay, anything else you want to add before we close, my dear? Or is that, I mean, that's pretty much, that's plenty.
That's heaps. Yeah. It's only been a week. I really honestly, hand on heart, thought it was 3 weeks. In my head, that's what it felt like. But it's only a week and a bit. So thank you so much. I hope this is of value to you.
Yes, well, I hope everyone enjoys watching it, and you know that they that they see, just it's really interesting to say, oh, it's helped with this illness and this problem and this and that. You know, it's really nice to see all the different areas that it's helping in, and I still don't know the potentials for this. You know, this is still, it's so groundbreaking and experimental that it's still, but it seems to be just having such profound and amazing effects in so many different areas. It's just a really exciting project.
Yeah, well, you know, I had the radiologist sit down to me. He said, you've got severe osteoarthritis. And I got in the car and cried. I was so devastated. And then to turn around and go, I have no pain, was in such a short time after that sort of death wish, because I don't feel old. And so that was to me like the first old thing I've got. And hey, so for that change so quickly, I'm so grateful, so incredibly grateful. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much, Mel. See you later.
Thanks, Mel. See you soon. Bye.